A beautiful picture of Hazrat Babajan, the Emperor, the Masiha, whose grace and love is still experienced by many devotees who visit her Dargah, her shrine, which is located in the heart of Pune city. It is not only the men who have attained the peak of enlightenment, but also several women who have revolutionized the world with their divine message. One of them is Hazrat Babajan. She was born in Baluchistan. Her birth name was Gul Rukh, which means a face like a rose. And that is so true. She looks like a rose, a divine rose. She was born to a royal Muslim family of Baluchistan. A time came when her marriage was arranged, but she opposed an unwelcome marriage which was planned for her, and she ran away from home on her wedding day at the age of 18. Disguised in her burqa, she journeyed to Peshawar, the frontier city at the foot of the Khyber Pass. It was in or near Peshawar that she eventually came into contact with a great Hindu master, a Sadguru. Following instructions from the Guru, she went into seclusion in a nearby mountain outside Rawalpindi and underwent very severe penance for nearly 17 months. Thereafter, she came down to Punjab and stayed a few months in Multan city. It was in Multan, at the age of 37, that she came in contact with a great Muslim saint who put end to her spiritual struggle by giving her the God realization experience. After that experience, she returned to Rawalpindi and she reconnected with the great Hindu master whom she had met at the age of 18. After a few years, Hazrat Babajan embarked on a several long journey through the Middle Eastern countries, Syria, Lebanon and Iraq. It is said that she traveled to Mecca disguised as a man, apparently to avoid detection. At the Kaaba, she offered prayers 5 times a day, always sitting at one selected spot. While in Mecca, Hazrat Babajan often gathered food for the poor and personally nursed pilgrims who had fallen ill. From Mecca, Babajan made a pilgrimage to the tomb of the Islamic prophet Muhammad in Medina, where she adopted the same routine of offering prayers and caring for fellow pilgrims. Leaving Arabia, she passed through Baghdad, Iraq, and back to Punjab. She then traveled south to Nasik and established herself in Panchavati. From Nasik, Babajan traveled to Bombay, which is now addressed as Mumbai. And in Bombay, she stayed for some time, and from there, her fame grew. In April 1903, she made a second pilgrimage to Mecca, this time sailing from Bombay. By 1904, Babajan returned back to Bombay and soon afterward proceeded to in the northern part of India to pay homage at the tomb of the Sufi saint Moinuddin Chishti, who established the Chishti order of Islam in India. From Ajmer, she again returned to Bombay, and then soon after, she travelled east to Pune. By 1905, Hazrat Babajan arrived in Pune, where she established her final residence. Now an old woman, her back was slightly bent, shoulders rounded, with white matted hair and shabbily dressed. She was seen sitting or resting at odd places in different parts of Pune city. Babajan finally located to a slum area called Char Baudi on Malcolm Tank Road, which was a part of British Army cantonment. The Char Baudi area at that time has been described as a picture of dirt, desolation, and ugliness, a breeding spot of plague, and a regular haunt of dangerous riff-raffs by night. After several months of exposure to the natural elements, Hazrat Babajan grudgingly allowed her devotees to build a basic shelter of gunny sacks above her. Children were in the habit of throwing stones at her. She was a homeless fakir. She knew how they lived. The gifts from her devotees were shared among the poor and destitute, and in some instances stolen from her by thieves. She remained indifferent to the material offerings or the loss. Gradually, out of devotion or mere curiosity, increasing numbers of people from Pune and elsewhere sought her out. And it is said that many miracles started happening through her hands. According to one observer, within a decade of Babajan taking residence, the Char Baudi locality underwent a great transformation. It became one of the most sought after place in Pune because Hazrat Babajan lived there. That is how the presence of a great master is. That just the presence can transform an utterly deserted area into the most beautiful area of the town. And that is how a true master can transform a sinner into a saint, a madman into an enlightened being. On 21st September 1931, one of the greatest saints, Her Holiness and the perfect master, Hazrat Babajan, left her mortal body. She died. And when she died, Babajan said, "It is time for me to live now. The work is over. I must close the shop." One of the devotees pleaded, "Do not say such things, Babajan. We need you with us." But she cryptically replied, Nobody wants my wares. Nobody can afford the price. I have turned my goods over to the proprietor." And she left her body. Today, Hazrat Babajan's Dargah or shrine is located at the same place, Char Baudi, where she spent most of her days in camp locality, the very heart of Pune city. However, before leaving her body, Hazrat Babajan had transferred her great powers and blessings to one young man, and his name was Merwan Sheriar Irani, a Parsi young boy who must have been 19 years old at that time when he met Babajan for the first time. It happened so that he was riding his bicycle on the way to class at Deccan College, when he looked up and saw an old woman sitting under a neem tree surrounded by a large crowd. He had passed from the same road on previous occasions also, but had never paid much attention to her, though he was aware that she was regarded by some as a great Muslim saint. Soon he started visiting her. They would sit together and yet they would never speak. One night, during January 1914, he was about to leave, and before doing so, he kissed Babajan's hands, and she in turn held his face in her hands, and she kissed him on the forehead, during which he received her spiritual grace. The event subsequently left Merwan Irani in a state of coma, in which he remained abstracted from his normal surroundings for nearly 9 months. This young man, Merwan Irani, later became known as Avatar Meher Baba. For 1 year continuously, the kiss remained on him, and he was in a coma. It may happen suddenly like this. This was a great transfer, And Hazrat Babajan died afterwards because she had just been waiting for this moment to give someone the whole energy. This was her last life, and there was not enough time even to explain what she was giving. And also, she was not the type to have explained. She was a silent mystic. She had not touched anybody for years. She was only waiting for this moment when she was to kiss someone, and the whole energy was to be transferred in a single transfer. Before this, she had not even touched anyone. So this touch was to be total. When the divine touch, when the realization, when the enlightenment happens, all action stops, because desires no more exist. Many desires will drop and many actions will also. Those actions which were just caused by desires will drop. If I was running for a particular desire, how can I run if the desire has dropped? My running will stop. At least the same running on the same route will stop. So when a person becomes desireless, at least for an interim period, for an interval, and how long it will be will depend on the individual. He will become inactive. The desires will have to drop, and all the actions that he had been doing were concerned with desires. So how can he continue? They will drop. One may also go into a coma. That is how Meher Baba, with that divine touch of Hazrat Babajan, went into a coma. Because all desires vanished with that one divine kiss. And when there is absolutely no desire, there is no action. You almost go into a deep sleep, to which the world may address as coma. After 1 year of coma, Meher Baba opens his eyes. His eyes are the same, but now his perspective towards life has changed. Everything around him is the same, but he is no more the same. Great spiritual energy, great light has come to his heart. The transferring has happened spontaneously. With just one divine kiss, the Hazrat has passed on herself to Meher Baba. How deep must be the love between them? How deep must be the connection of many past lives between them? Hazrat Babajan left, but before leaving, she gave the greatest gift to humanity in the form of Avatar Meher Baba. Meher Baba, the man who revolutionized the whole world, traveled around the whole world and transformed many madmen into enlightened beings.